Welcome everyone to the start of a new gameplay series on Airport CEO. This game is very reminiscent of Prison Architect, basically Prison Architect for airports. And I stumbled upon it for the first time only, I've played it for the first time only a couple weeks ago. I really like it, so I think it's worth showing on the channel. Kind of the same way I showed Gear City. This game is much more approachable than Gear City though, I would say. So I think that there could be some of you guys out there who enjoy this one. Now I think that there's no way of going for anything but this 80s entrepreneur, possibly adult entrepreneur. Have to go with that look. Did they leave it in there? You just gotta go. So yeah, the first thing we can do, besides making our avatar, which is meaningless, is pick where our airport is going to be. Couple of caveats about this. They have, for the benefit, the nice thing is they have a lot of stats. You can have climate, the amount of snow, so de-icing, rain, humidity. I mean, there's a lot of things which are modeled here, which is kind of cool, or it gives you the impression of being pretty cool. Now, where you pick, you can also see that there's a number of domestic airports in the region. I did pick an airport on Lord Howe Island, and that one was just as busy as the ones I've done in very busy parts of the United States. So it doesn't appear that your choice impacts the popularity of the airport, which is, could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. If you want realism, maybe a bad thing. If you want to have the opportunity to build your airport anywhere. I mean, I still had single prop airplanes flying in from God knows where, or where they were going off to after that. Also, who knows, but don't ask. Just enjoy the fact that you have an airport on Lord Howe Island. Now, also, I mentioned about all these stats, but it doesn't look like that they potentially are modeled correctly. We have Seattle here sitting on rare precipitation. That would be news to everybody in Seattle, and most of the people who know of anything about Seattle. It's like one of the few things you know about Seattle is it rains there all the time. True with Portland as well, it's also rare, and boy, I can tell you, that is not true. Anyways, for today, because I want to be a little bit clever, I'm just going to pick somewhere in California. I'm going to pick California International Air Exchange. I don't think I can do Airland Exchange. I want to make this like as if it was a bargain between air and land. Here, take this aircraft. Okay, we'll take that one back. But mainly I just wanted an excuse to use the initials CIA. And I do like the amount of logos that they have here. I enjoy games like Bannerlord, Stellaris, these kind of ones that allow a lot of options as far as logos go. Now this one is far less customizable than those, but they have enough to satisfy me. We'll go ahead and choose a large map here. As far as difficulty goes, the impression I get about this game is that, I mean, this is probably true with any Tycoon game, but for some reason, and it's something to wonder why it is, but for some reason this game makes it more apparent that you go through explosive constructions periods, and then you go, not explosive construction, but you go through like rapid construction phases to reach a plateau where you settle and into profit. And then at some point you use that to accrue money to fund your next big construction project. And like I said, this formula is as old as time, really. It's just how all Tycoon type stuff should work. But in this game, I really feel like the time waiting for the next explosion of activity can get a little boring. And I feel like it'll be even more boring if you're not making nearly as much money in that period where you're just eking by. Now, maybe the difficulty will make it so that period of waiting for money is more interesting, but I don't know, and because I don't know, I'm going to stick to the safe thing for a series. So we're going with moderate. And basically, this is my way of saying, I will not have to wait quite as long for money to come in, because it'll be a little bit easier to make. I assume. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what all goes into moderate versus difficult. I just assume that the profit is a little bit lower on the more difficult settings. And maybe that's not true. Maybe it only impacts the amount of money you start with, in which case, we're definitely going with moderate. So it's going to construct the game, and like I said, this is like Prison Architect. It doesn't have all of the humor of Prison Architect, but it has that same kind of look, feel. And I didn't expect to enjoy the game as much as I did when I first started playing it. There's a few people, and we're talking a whole bunch about airplanes. In fact, one of the group is a person who works at an airport, and I think that kind of inspired us. We've been playing Microsoft Flight Simulator, but now it's time to be the CEO of an airport. Okay, so we're gonna skip through all this stuff because I know it, and I'm faster at showing it than waiting for them to tell me what to do. First choice is we're gonna need to pick a contract for contractors who are gonna actually do the construction. We have two choices here, 135 for 5.2, which is, I'm sure, what I'm going to accept. Let me pause the game. And then there's a second star, which is less contractors for more money. Some decisions in the game are like this. There is a clearly better option of the two. So I'm not sure why it was done that way, but it's just the way it is. Make sure you aren't fooled into thinking, like sometimes you're almost like, am I misreading something? Can it really be the case that this is better in both regards? Shouldn't it be a trade-off, like less contractors, but less pay? Nope, it's just purely one is better. So we're gonna wait for these contractors to roll on in. We'll do that on high speed. And eventually I'm gonna replace this, okay, yeah, I'm gonna replace this contractor area. And now they want us to actually build an airport. Okay, I mean an airfield, a landing strip, also known as a runway. The difference between the grass and the asphalt for a lot of the things is just the operating cost. So higher construction cost, 100,000, 300 goes to 150 and 200. So we pay 50% more, we spend 50% less. Yeah, I think that's the way it goes. And although we could put it, so I want to leave future-proofing. You know how these things go. A lot of these games are really about future-proofing. So I'm going to put that in there. We're not actually going to build that. And I want to leave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces, and we'll put this down whenever I get back onto the map. There it is. Okay, good. I'm going to buy the one to the right of us anyway, and then we'll hit Control to delete that. Control click to delete that one. Okay. So a lot of these games come down to like learning what the formula is, what the desirable layout is in like for you. And I actually went through this, the first game I ever played of this. Normally what I do is I learn a little bit, I restart, I iterate. In this one I actually didn't do that. We're just gonna unlock this right away. I went ahead and just bit my tongue and I don't know what held on against my OCD. And I just played with a somewhat inefficient airport. And it was okay. I'm here to tell you, I came back from the other side. It's okay to play with a less than perfect thing. It's not great, but it hurts. But it's a good hurt. It's a hurt which shows that you've learned to conquer your OCD. Anyway, yeah, these games are all about like getting a perfect layout and then, returning to that layout time and time again. Usually at that point, you're kind of bored of the game. And let me just put that one right there just for fun. So they make it seem like you need to be 5 wide here, but you actually can taxi any aircraft, at least any small or medium aircraft. I've never had a large aircraft. But you can taxi any small or medium aircraft with only a 3 wide taxiway. So if you want to use that to like min-max a little bit, you can. I want to build a 5x5 here. This is going to be my hangar. I want a repair hangar here, an aircraft hangar here. And that means that I probably am going to go with a 5 wide, not 6, 5. I'm going to go with a 5 wide eventually. Do I want to build that 5 wide now? No, probably not. So what I'm going to do is trim off the last 2. And this is going to be our 3 wide tarmac. The reason I'm doing this is because when you place down the aircraft stands, it's kind of a pain in the rear end to move them. And I want 2 so that our road is right. Wrong, see? Got it. You want to do this now because moving them later is kind of a pain. In fact, that's one of the things I would say is not a great feature about this game. They don't have a very good bulldoze and rebuild system. I don't know if this game's in early access. I kind of assume it's not. Oh yeah, we're going crazy on those stands. But yeah, I mean, hopefully they're still improving the game. This is something related to the construction side of things. I recently put a comment on their discussion forum on Steam. We'll see if they hear it, if they're taking requests for improvements. The thing I really don't like is that if you put a road down where the road will go on the aircraft stands, you cannot build an aircraft stand on top of it because you have to delete the service road first, even though the aircraft stand is going to put a service road in the exact same spot. So that's really annoying. If you have, like, if I have a road which I need to build here to, like, let's say I built 5 of these stands, I couldn't afford the left few. I build my road so I can connect to these guys. But then when I want to build these, I have to bulldoze my road, which means these are inaccessible for time until the new stands are actually put up. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's just advanced stuff. So yeah, going back to the layout, I have a layout in mind, as you can see. But if you want to muddle through things on your own, you can do that. It's not too bad. This game doesn't make it too terrible of an experience. I live to tell the tale, so. We'll do this, we'll connect, and then we're just gonna go ahead and click all these. And then it's telling us to build an air traffic control center, which we will do next. Whoops, control click. All right, air traffic control, and I'm gonna put this one here, why not? And that should be everything we need to get this all going. So we'll wait for our contractors, which are gonna have a lot of work to do, to start doing that stuff. And in the meantime, I mean, although all of that has been queued up, I think first, we'll also start building off. What I am eventually gonna do is make this side area. So yeah, I mean, right now this is the unloading zone for material, the contractor center. I'm gonna replace those and put them down here instead, and that way we can open up this area for other things, like, really it's gonna be part of the circuit for going into the terminal, draw-offs and pickups and all that. I don't want my contractors and my materials blocking off part of the what I hope will one day be a very busy circuit of drop-offs and pickups. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're getting a few emails here, but I haven't found that the emails are all that interesting. I would say that they're worth reading one time, but not even worth me reading one time for you. So they're not that great. We'll go up to speed 3 again, wait for our contractors to do this. And another thing which is interesting, I'm sure I'll mention it later when I see it, but contractors are immune to collisions with aircraft. Something I didn't know about contractors, which I learned from this game. I always thought that people on the runway tarmac, people who were doing construction would be pulverized by an airplane, but I've learned now that they're actually impervious. So that's good to know, because they will be in collision zones with aircraft very often in this game. Alright, it's time for us to actually get going, huh? We can open our airfield, allow general aviation, and then we need to open our runway. And now, I'm doing the. Did I miss something? It's open, right? What are you complaining about? What did I do wrong? Did I not connect the taxiway? It doesn't. I bet you I didn't connect this taxi path. Oh, wait. What are you complaining about? Yeah, it looks like it's all there. Oh, are they just waiting for an animal to get off the road? Yeah, well, it could be that. It could be that I'm gonna pause the video. Okay, I have no idea. I actually queued up all these orders to expand the tarmac to 5 wide. I was like, is everything I thought I knew a lie? But then this guy started to land, and I don't understand why he took like 10 hours to land. But something just happened at some point. I wish I knew what exactly it was that made the difference. Wait. Tell me he's just waiting for... Yeah. Did he just get hit by a fox? I don't know. Maybe. But he's fine now, so it's all good. Alright, so anyways, we now need to wait for 5... Oh god, where are they? Okay, here they come. No, we don't even have the ability to land aircraft at night for commercial flights. That's something you have to research. But I guess for general aviation it doesn't matter. And by the way, this is the first plateau. I don't know why I'm calling them plateaus, because it's not really like... It's like a pause in construction. But just let me use the alias for that as plateau. So this first plateau is when you have general aviation. Just coming in, making a loop, leaving. This will make you 500 for the takeoff and for the landing, and then 100 every 15 minutes that they're in the actual parking spot. So this is actually pretty lucrative. I mean, as far as profits go, as you would imagine, it is the least profitable per hour than any other setup, which makes sense. I mean, if there was no reason to go up, if you were already making the most profit, why would you build a bigger airport? You'd have to be basically playing it as a sandbox at that point. Now they're telling us, which, I mean, we've seen all these animals just wandering all over. They're telling us, please fence in your system. Well, let's do that. Now, this fencing business does take a very long time to... Oh, okay, before I do this, actually, I want to move my delivery site, because this is actually when the delivery sites gets to be really overloaded with stuff. So, a contractor site is pretty easy to move at any point in time, but that delivery site... It's going to get very busy. I'm still going to delete it right now anyway, and then we can get to the fencing. So again, this is all just future-proofing, and I'm trying to give you hope that I lived through a non-optimized playthrough. You might too. You know, I don't know how deep the OCD runs in you, but... I don't really like using that term, so I know that I probably don't have it in like a real medical sense. I just have like preferences. So I don't know if it's impolite to use it in the same way, but I mean, I do mentally feel a drive to do these things. Okay, so now our delivery is first, which means that if there are deliveries to be done, which in this case there are, they'll be done first before contractors block things. Now I already have hired all of the contractors. They're all currently working. Now, as far as I know, there's no penalty to dismissing and then bringing back contractors other than the time that they spend in the buses, which I think you pay for. I'm not sure. Nonetheless, you can be pretty aggressive about releasing and bringing back your contractors. Now, note that here we are. We're sitting at 600,000 after this. We're just going to slowly make money through this because the operating fees are pretty minor right now. Oh, and yeah, we are going to want, that's probably what it's telling us, yeah, a fence. We will want some gates so that... Whoops. R for rotate. I like to put 2 right here, and then, you know, even though it's not really necessary, I like to let them, they accidentally wander off too far. I like to, you know, welcome them back home. Come back. Yeah, I'll do the same thing here to there, and then maybe just a couple. This fence will eventually be torn down. So... yeah, okay. Where they haven't built it yet is where I'd like to put these. Looks like I'm a little bit behind on this side. And this is important to put gates on because eventually we will own the area to the left of us. And I want them to do... We'll have a full airport up and going by then. So I want them to be able to move in and out easily enough so that, you know, they can actually do whatever construction they need to do on the left-hand side without disrupting... You know, I don't want to tear down the fence here. Oh, speaking of rain... It very rarely rains in this game, and so it's actually a pleasure to see. Okay, so that's that. Next thing we're going to do is vehicle checkpoint stuff. Well, good. I already have this set up in the new place that I want the vehicle checkpoint. Sorry, I hit tab kind of instinctually. Now, note about this. You're probably going to be like, well, duh, that's obvious, but I missed it, so just to know. The wrenches on the roads mean the service road. That means internal. That means the ones, you know, by the airplanes. So this is backwards. Although I kind of wanted it on the top side of the road, a little shack. But you can't do it that way because it won't connect to the public road. Has to be the not wrench one. So it will connect like this. Now we can also build some service roads. I have a specific design in mind, if you can't already see. Now, there is a way for us to go... I paused the game, which is another way to prevent the contractors from doing the work, but you can actually go to planning mode here. There's probably a shortcut key for this, which I should learn, but I don't know it yet, so that's we'll make do in the meantime, just by clicking on it. Yeah, and although I'm going to use this as a planning thing, I really don't need to plan. This is, I know where this is going to go. But I want to go 10 down from this. Basically, I want to go 10 down to this because this is the size of the terminal that I want to build. And then this is what I actually want. So, sorry, this is not where I want it. I want it 5 down from that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Clicky. So if I'm not mistaken, let me delete this. This should be 5, which is our runway, our taxiway. And then we're gonna have a 10 by 10, which is gonna be our, sorry, I did miss it. A 10 by 10, which is gonna be our medium aircraft landing. So the small aircraft landing pads are, well, they're basically 5 by 5 for the aircraft, plus the 2 on the bottom for the service road. So this is actually a 5 across by 7 tall. These are 10 by 10, which means the bottom 2 are the service road. Okay, so I've done a lot of garbage here, but let me just put this here. That's where the service road is going to go. Delete the rest of it. Good. So now we know where our service road is going to go. And let me actually build it where I want it. Like that. Okay, that's the bottom of it. And I don't actually need to build this in planning mode. I can actually build this. So we'll drag and select planned objects for construction. Good. I don't actually have to build it, but all this is just to go into the fact that now I'm going to go back to planning mode. Go back over and we can draw out our design. So this is where we'll be going eventually. And we know that we need 2 on the left, on right next to this, which is going to be our service road. Voila. Go back and construct things which are in planning mode, and we'll construct, you know what? Not all of that, but at least this much. And not that. Okay, so let's pretend that I'm gonna do this, and then I'll delete some of it, because I don't actually want all that. It's just gonna be a waste of maintenance. So let's just put a tiny bit, and you know what? I'm gonna swap it back into. Can I change it? No. So do it this way. We're in planning mode. There we go. And take off planning mode. There's a better way of doing this, I'm sure. So, I apologize. But there, that was good enough. That works. Alright, so that's our layout, which means that now we can actually get this vehicle depot going and all that. And I always forget, the vehicle depot is actually under the aircraft, not under the vehicles. So we'll put this, we can put it any old place for now, because I'm planning to replace it. Eventually it'll go. But we'll put it for now just right there. And then we can put the nav gas thing, which is I guess what they're going to ask for next, on the opposite side of it. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, good. So this is a lot of work for our guys to do. It looks like they haven't quite finished building the fence. I might just cut away real fast and let them finish doing the construction here. And heck, okay, we're at 580,000. We'll see. I'll just cut away from Tuesday about midday. We'll see how much profit we make while they're doing all the construction work. Okay, roads are starting to pop in. Contractors are doing their job. One thing we need to do is make sure we actually connect to our spots. And now it's saying that we are all good to go. We just need to do a contract. So go to economy, offer contracts, and hey, there's 1 fuel, 2 fuel, 3 fuel. Same deal here, 1.53, 1.56, 1.47. This is also 0.26 for jet aviation, which is what we'll be using for commercial. 0.26, 0.38, my goodness, 0.44. And this one also delivers the most, 400,000 liters per delivery. I'm not sure what the game is really going on about with this stuff. I mean, unless it's just, is it because of the difficulty is moderate that they're trying to give me like a very obvious best? Because that is definitely the best. It's the most amount of fuel that they'll deliver at a shot, and it's for the cheapest amount of money. Okay, next we're going to vehicles. We're purchasing a Fjord fuel truck. I think one's going to be good for now, especially since we'll want one for the avgas, and then we'll probably get another one. It'll be a different one for the actual commercial flights, which is what we want to get up to eventually. Now, I would say that the refueling in this game is probably almost as lucrative as getting the flights themselves. This is true for the general aviation. So these flights, you make a lot of money again from like the takeoffs, landings, and 100 per 15 minutes. $400 an hour. But you do make a lot of money off of the avgas. So that's is definitely worth doing. In fact, I think that that's a more natural break point, is to do the construction and then get the fuel up and then wait to recoup your money. So my big construction projects, my jumps, explosions of construction, they're basically to plan not just for the next step, but the next step plus fuel. Now it's just going to demand and essentially that we refuel 5 aircraft. Only new coming in aircraft you can see have this request. Ones that had landed already will not request it, so only new aircraft will come in with the knowledge that we even have it. Kind of makes sense, but it doesn't really matter. It's just an offhand comment, really. But yeah, we're doing good. Oh, look at this Piper Cub. The thing is, did they take this out of Microsoft Flight Simulator? I could have sworn I was using a Piper Cub. And then just the other day, I logged on for the first time in a couple years, really. I mean, I haven't played dedicated Microsoft Flight Simulator for a while. And then I could not find the Piper Cub. Did they take it out? I found some other Cub, but I'm pretty sure I used to use the nice bright yellow Piper Cub, and I really enjoyed flying it. Because I like to do goofy things like bush flying. Okay, so we want to refuel 5 GA aircraft, and hey, we're done! Which means that we're probably in a really good spot to end this video. And, geez man, it's quite foggy. It's not normally like this. I mean, at least at my airports, but it's rare, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. It just means it won't happen very often. Yeah, so we have our work cut out for us in the next one. It'll build a big terminal, get the roundabout stuff going to direct traffic, people dropping off passengers, parking, all that kind of stuff. So we have a lot of work to do, but we're going to save that for the next episode. I plan for this to be kind of a shorter series. You know what? You guys can keep going in the background. I plan for this to be a shorter series, but just to kind of demonstrate the game, I want to get to maybe up to medium aircraft, and then we'll have a reasonably large airport at that point with at least 2 runways. So I think that'll be a good stopping point. Or yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll continue from there. But probably you'll have gotten whether or not you want this game or not by then. Yeah, so because this is the first video on the series, if you wouldn't mind pressing the like button or leaving a comment, subscribing, or dancing upside down. I don't know what they're supposed to do these days, but whatever that is. And also, I hope to see you back for the next one. Till then, thanks for watching, stay safe, and take care.